Wow, women helping other women learn, grow, and empower. Learn new things, grow from what you learn. Empower others to do the same. Helping you to create a plan for your life, vision for a better life. Get connected to resources, seminars, trainings, women helping others with the gifts that they have. Contact Crystal Ifakoya, the founder and creator of WOW. Why not? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Phases the Next Level, Black is Magazine. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Ramal is going to be featured in the second edition Black is Magazine. We're excited about that. So I appreciate you, Ramal, for accepting to be here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a true pleasure to be here with you and to just share with the new audience. So I'm excited.
Yeah, so we have on Phases the Next Level about 8,000 people that watch from all over the place.
Awesome.
And then we're building Black is _ magazine where you'll be there as well. So
awesome.
Ramal, tell the people who you are.
Yeah, so I'm, of course, Ramal Brown from Tulsa, Oklahoma, just a kid that grew up on Apache and Lewis. I mean, nothing too special, you know what I'm saying? But just grew up loving the Lord. And also loving my family, loving my community. And I'm married. I've been married for 15 years now, have 2 kids, a daughter and a son. They're doing very well, Samaya and Sean. Yeah. And so yeah, I went to all elementary schools in the community, Anderson, Monroe. I also went to Memorial, but graduated from Project 12. That was an alternative school. Yeah. And then I served in the Army and have served since 2002.
Thank you for your service. Thank
you. Thank you. I'm so very grateful. Serving in the military, went over to Iraq and served for 7 months, and then came back back home. And it was a transition through all of that things. And so hopefully I'll be able to share a little bit of that transition. But from there, worked in radio. I since I was a kid, I loved radio. So I was like, okay, well, let me go work at 105.3 and was a on-air personality at 105K Jams for roughly about 3 years or so. Intern, worked from the bottom up. I didn't have nobody that can get me in the door, but I just literally just went in and serving. And then come to find out, I had the #1 show from 7 to midnight for about a year straight. So I was like, wow, it really worked, And so from there, stopped working in radio, then started working more in the club scene and doing some DJing and MCing. Mm-hmm. And wanted to be near more of my consumers, more of the people that I'm around. And so with that, I started to build that. And at one point had started a marketing firm within the community. And it was more of in-your-face marketing, guerrilla marketing. And that's what I love. I love the guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
And so getting out there, doing events and trying just new stuff, seeing what they're doing in other cities and just trying to bring it here. And then with that, it started to work. And then from there, just transitioned more, just focused in radio itself. And took that time to build the radio station here in Tulsa. So that's it. That's where I'm at today, currently.
Well, congratulations. You've done a lot. The example that you are setting is that you can be anything that you want to be. You have to go for it, right? And that's what I always live by. I don't care if I have 1,000 people to support me or one person, if it's something that is burning in me, I got to get it out and I got to reach that goal. So that's where it sounds like kind of where you are with getting into radio. By going to 105, say, I want to go work for them. This is what's going to happen, and got a #1 show. So
absolutely.
That speaks volumes. Contact Crystal Ifakoya, the founder and creator of WOW. Why not? I want to talk about what you said. From growing up, you always knew you wanted to be in radio, but let's talk about your life growing up, if you will. That led up to you graduating from an alternative school. My goal is to reach out to people. You never know what people go through. And when we tell our stories, it's so much more effective for other people to be able to tell their story. So let's talk about growing up in Tulsa and how that was.
Sure. So growing up in Tulsa, it was challenging. I was born in the 80s. So it was around a time where gangs were heavy, and when I have an older brother, his name is Lamar Brown, and he couldn't wear certain colors out in the streets. And so I remember that time and era where you kind of had to be very careful being out in the community, in the streets, and gangs were a big deal back then. And so, living in North Tulsa, just a kid, seeing different things, but, my mom taking me to church every Sunday and Wednesday, and just kind of getting more community and that spiritual mind, that mindset, and growing up, so it was a challenge. It was a huge challenge. And even things that went on in my own home, my dad had some challenges with him not knowing who his father was. And so, my grandfather, he was just a man about town. He was just, he was sleeping around with prostitutes. He was sleeping around with other people and doing things like that. And so, of course, it put a strain on all of his relationships with all of the children. And so with that, my dad had challenges, and, the challenges you got to see in the home, 'cause it was live in the flesh. It was real. It was what it was. And my dad didn't grow up in the church like my mom. So it was kind of a change or a dynamic that was very unique and different within our home. My mom grew up, in the church. Her dad, country man, just love the Lord, just simple living. You know what I'm saying? And my dad grew up more in the streets, like in that time when it was, he didn't have mom and dad there to help him. And so I got the best of both worlds to see that. And so with the best of both worlds, I'm not afraid of the streets. Yeah. But, I had that I always listen to the Spirit of God when I'm in the streets, like, hey, don't go over there, right. Just following. So with that, at the same time, I still wasn't afraid of people. Some people are afraid of homeless people. Some people are afraid of prostitutes and other people out there just to talk to them. True. But I didn't have that fear. So with that, I always use that to my advantage. Like, okay, well, you scared? I'm going to go meet this person, And so I knew, but since then, I knew when I was a kid, I wanted to be in radio. So I knew what it took to get to that point. You got to have people. You got to be a people person. So no matter who they are, no matter what their status is, you got to treat them right. Mm-hmm. And so that process was crazy. And so then from there, it was just on and off, going to elementary school, things happening in the home that was just very, some things kids shouldn't have seen, and things that have happened. And just growing up, conflicted even in my mind just at times. Just like, dang, well, my dad does this, but my pastor does this. And it's just different, top two dynamics. So growing up, I had to learn to be an independent thinker. It's like, okay, you can't do this. You definitely don't want to do this, but you can't be just all of this, So it's just like I had to think for myself in that moment. And so that transition as me growing up and going to middle school, going to an all-Black middle school, and, getting our education there as far as Black history and all these other things. So I was taught in a different way. And then it was a whole totally different dynamic. I went to a predominantly white high school. And so with that, it was very different. It was just like, oh, they don't say the same slang words. They don't listen to the same music as I do. And so,
being the same,
Yeah, if you're dressed the same, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that builds your culture and understanding what, other people are like, and so you get to see that. It's like, oh, that's cool. Oh, I may get them jeans though. You know what I'm saying? Like you get to pick your own style. And so from there, I struggled in school. Like my learning, the way that they were teaching me was not the way that I learned best.
Yeah.
And so I struggled. I'd rather go hang with my friends because that's where, we associate ourselves and that's our community. But, of course, I should have taken it on. They were giving, I'm sure they were giving great information, but that's just the way that they were trying to teach me. It just didn't work for me. And so from there, I made a transition going into alternative school. I went to summer school every single summer. Like it wasn't a summer I did not go because I wasn't interested in school.
Right.
And then I went to an alternative school after 12th grade. I had another year. And this alternative school, it spoke to me. Like they were really like, well, how are you asking me questions and really taking the time to understand my culture and who I am as a person. And so with that, it was a lot easier to transition and to learn and to understand how I learn best, And so that's how I really caught on with my education and to how to really at least like fight through. I may not be like the kids that can go to college and just slide right through college. That's not me. So I had to fight for every single grade. Yeah. So with that, I have to find myself. I have to learn and get around different people that can help me to understand the concepts. And so with that, I made that transition into the Army, and I was because one day I was just playing Madden at the house. I was living with my friends, and I was like, man, I was playing Madden. I was there all by myself too, and I was just doing this for hours. And I was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I gotta do something different. And going to work, I worked at Arby's. I kept a little job doing my thing. But then I was just like, well, let me go to the Army. Let me see what it's like. And that was the best decision of my life. It really helped to discipline me. It helped me to grow up as a man in my mindset and my thinking and mentality, and even in my body, just, the exercise and the mindset. The mindset was the biggest thing for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, when we talk about breaking generational curses,
yes.
I think that, to me, it sounds like could have been something that helped you to break the curse of, this is what my father's doing. This is what I'm seeing, and this is and then it helped you to be that independent thinker. I always tell my children that you have to think for yourself, make your decisions, because you got to live with those decisions that you make. Talk about independent thinkers. That I want to refer back to that. Mm-hmm. You could have chosen a whole total different way. And it sounded like you were about there when you were sitting there playing the game all day, I'll go work at Arby's, but what else for my life? What else for my life? What do you tell people about how to deal with the struggle of figuring out your life? Mm-hmm. How do you talk to people about that?
So it's all in your decision. Like, I really think it's like, what do you want? If I can find out what you want in life, then that's how I can break you out of that chain of just being in bondage, of that just same cycle of where you are, because what you want is outside of what you are doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if you can find a pathway and you can have the support, somebody to walk you through hand over hand to be like, okay, fill out an application here, type this out, or write this down. Everybody needs somebody in their life that can help them, and support them in their life journey. It's more than just tests, it's the little things on a daily basis. So, I just ask people, what do you want, basically? And that helps.
Yeah. You talk about support, and a support doesn't always come from the family. Like, it's not going to always be the family that supports you. But sometimes people find it hard to ask for help. So then they don't ask for help and they get off on the wrong track and things like that. But I think that, would you agree that support is not going to always come from your family? Wow, women helping other women. Let's talk about what you're doing currently. Now, I know that my daughter wrote a book. She's 11, and we came to your radio station and we were connected. And so thank you again for that. That was
we
amazing.
Enjoyed it.
So she's shy. It was still amazing. So I'm hearing that you work or you focus on children some type of way. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we have a radio show called The Juice Radio Show, and it's led by teenagers in the community from 10th grade. The youngest is 10th grade, and it goes all the way up to college students. Even some college students are a part of our program and organization. And so what we do, we allow them to, we train them how to run the radio station itself, like from open to close, we try to teach them. And so they talk about topics that interest them, what album is coming out, sports team, like we literally allow them to lead the show. And so it becomes more organic, it becomes more natural. The only rule we say is don't cuss and don't, call people out their name, genders. Because if somebody's an LGBT, we respect that community. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but don't disrespect nobody. So that's the only rule we got. And other than that, we good. And so they roll with that. And we've taken them to Atlanta. We took them to the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. We took them to Tyler Perry Studios. We took them to a tour around Atlanta, the hip hop tours of Atlanta. And we got to really see the intricate parts where movies were made and all of these other things that really were impactful. And so one thing that I understand is that I'm only one voice, but if I can get the voices of people that are actually successful in Atlanta, they can probably speak louder than I can. But then when we come back from Atlanta, now I got everybody's attention. Like, y'all see what I'm trying to tell y'all? Yeah. So I have to, and that's just like in a marriage. You got to go to counseling. You got to get that third voice to always say something into this, into that union. So in our union, that's how we get our voice. And so we're building an opportunity for these youth to build a multimedia company.
Right.
And so we're training them up and teaching them. So, yep. And that's it in a nutshell.
What made you create the Juice Radio Show? What was it what was like, I need to do this?
Mm-hmm.
So
it was actually created by Bobby Eaton. He is the brainchild of it from concept to now. And I came in just as a director. Like because he knew I worked in radio, he was like, "Hey man, why don't you work with the Juice?" I was like, "All right, cool." But what he always says is that North Tulsa has bad communication, and that is a struggle for people. And he said that the youth even have more of a struggle with communication. And so if we can make it a cool thing for youth to talk about their issues and really listen to them and help them through their situations, then that's how we can start building bridges within the community. Right. And so I just came in as a director, and man, I had a vision like for these youth and what I wanted to do. And so I just I'm running with the vision that he planted.
Wow. So I remember that there were specific places that you could hear the show on the radio. So do you guys plan on expanding that out? What is the process of even being able to expand it out for more people to hear it? How does that work?
So yes, we're a FM station, community radio station, and we're low wattage. So you can't hear us too far in your car. Only if you kind of get close to our station, you can hear us pretty good. So we were like, man, we got to expand. So, of course, internet, we're able to go digital. And so we have our website, kbob899.com. Yep. And if you just go onto the website and just click on Listen Live, you can hear it live in your car or anywhere in the world to, listen and get connected with what we're doing. So that's our options that we have.
That's good. And I'll be sure that I, put it out there, because I feel like whenever you're trying to reach teenagers especially, I think it's how the violence is getting younger and younger. They're dying younger and younger behind guns and violence. And so how do we spread this word? How do we say, okay, we talk about Black Lives Matter, but why are we taking each other's lives? Because if we come together, we become a force to reckon with, right?
Right.
How do you get that word out even broader, like across the entire board? How do you start working with people? I like the fact that you were able to go to Tyler Perry, go to Atlanta and see those things. But, I think it's important that we help each other kind of put each other's information out there when it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
I feel like more and more teenagers, preteens even, need somebody that's behind them, because you're right, they don't communicate. If it's something they're going through, they don't communicate. Or if they communicate, it's in a whole negative way, maybe.
All right.
Violence, whatever, right? And so I want to be able to share your information on every platform that I have, because I feel like it's important. So what is your plan for Juice in the future? Or is Juice the only thing that you do? Or do you have different shows for the radio?
Oh, yes. So 2-part question. I'm going to answer the first one with the Juice, and then the second one with okay, got you. All right. So the Juice. So what my idea is that if we can take the Juice to Muskogee, Shakota, the small country towns, and help those kids, Bartlesville. If we can take these radio shows and stations like the Juice to the small country towns, there are a lot of kids dealing with way more issues in these smaller towns than what we are, because we have resources here in the bigger towns.
Absolutely.
If we can support, kids, if we start small, I think we can go big. You know what I'm saying? Talk to her. Tell her real quick. Tell her. You got your hand on your hip.
You saw me?
Yeah.
Listen, Anaya, my husband and my daughter, y'all need to get out of here, please, kindly. Because you're making noises. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
So rude. Okay.
They want to sit and watch the show, huh?
Yes, I'll let you see later.
Interesting. Yeah.
Hey, thank y'all. Now shut the door behind you. Thank you. Okay. Now we can move forward.
Yeah. All right, cool. But I feel you though. I feel you.
Yeah.
So I just believe if we can start small, we'll go very big, and they're forgotten children. And that's why we have the nonprofit Not Forgotten Children. We trying to think of those like that are disabled, those kids that have disabilities, those that have been sexually abused, those that have been that have drugs in their system when they were babies. It's so many things that those babies, and people forget about certain issues even that little kids have.
Sure.
And so
it's the truth, because I'm talking about, and we're getting ready, my daughter's getting ready to write another book, and it's going to be about what children think about COVID and their mental health. Like they have to do what we say and how we feel, but what about what they feel? Their voices matter.
Yes.
So what about them?
Yeah.
Some of them feel like that. Well, what about me? And so a lot of that, I think the communication breakdown is because if I say something, they're not going to listen to me anyway because I'm a kid, or something like that. But what I was going to also share with you is we're trying to do a Stop the Violence, a whole event in Bartlesville. And maybe you guys can come and be a part of that. What we're trying to do is say, put the guns down. We're going to have it in this park or whatever. I don't know. We're trying to get it together and have men speakers to speak to these young guys that are even, young up, because you gotta catch them young. The children that don't have fathers in the homes, the children that are dealing with all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't imagine. And so we'll talk more about that. I don't want to get off track,
for sure.
But I mean, it just seems like there's a need for that in every, all around us. And we begin to forget how the children think, how they feel. It's like they got to do what we say because we're the parents, we're the adults or whatever, but they still have a mind. They still have suggestions and ideas and the way opinions and how they feel. So you're talking to a child, a teenage, preteen, whatever. His father's absent. He's on the brink. Let me put it this way. He's on the brink of destruction, but he's a really good kid. And if somebody could just help him, how do you save him? How do you?
Well, I've learned to speak their language. Like I speak the language of the streets. They say on me. They say all this other things. So if I become who they are, if I dress cool, if I'm in my approach, if I'm cool, then it's easier for me to make a long-term impact. I know it's not going to happen overnight. It's like, it's more than a relationship. It's more than me seeing you, me doing different things in the community, who I'm attached to. Am I associated with any local rappers like that they respect? Right. And it's just that you have to be a part of their culture. You have to understand the way that they live.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap the interview up, and I want you to let everybody know how they can reach you, your social medias, however. How can people reach you?
Ramal Brown is my Facebook, and I am Ramal on Instagram. And if you want to reach me via email, you can reach me at ramal.brown@gmail.com.
Small business, running a business, building a business.
Yes.
A lot of kids have dreams of building a business. I'm still grooming my business. I'm still growing my business. It hasn't been easy. Tell me about building a business for your Black man. You know, we have a lot going against us as a culture.
Yeah.
Tell me the struggles of the struggles of building a business.
Struggles of building a business. So I have no financial backing. I got to do it all on my own dollar. I got to work a job. I work in security overnight, and I'm not able to get a big loan right now. So I got to really work towards it incrementally, like small. So, it's fun to me. Like I love the challenge. When people say no, that just only fuels my fire, or you may think a certain thing about me, it only fuels my fire. So it's like, no matter what anybody throws at me, I'm just going to find a different way to do it, in a fun way for me, and to make it even look fun, just so that I can show you that you should have said yes to my idea.
I like that.
What I'm saying? They say kill them with kindness, but murder them with success. And so it's just like, I take my no's, I take my punches, I take my lumps, and I take my mistakes during every event. But the way that I've learned to do this all is through nonprofit organizations. you get blessed if you work through a nonprofit, because they may not have a big budget, but you're making a deeper impact within the community, and you're able to really do some things. So working with the nonprofit, it accelerated me so fast, because I took a different route than just going to work a club or going to work a bar. I wanted to really help people. And so the struggles that I really had was it was a money issue, but I'll take people over money any day. And I still have a good name to this day, so it's like, my struggles have been my financial, but I'm taking a long route. I'm not taking any shortcuts, not taking bribes or anything. So it's just like, I just got to move towards it and make it happen.
I like that. I talked to, and I've interviewed several people about building a business. And one thing that, we talk about is that in order to grow your business, it takes money. My opinion is that you can't just go into, wanting to build your business thinking I'm going to get rich off of this, or I'm going to make so much money. You have to love what you do.
Yes.
It has to be that burning sensation in you that no matter what, I'm going to do it. And if I have to spend my own money, go work a 9 to 5, I'm going to do that.
Got to
support it. And so people give up really easy because I don't have the money, I don't do this, but I feel like those are excuses. It's an excuse. If it's something you want, in order to get it, you're going to have to fight for it. One, you're going to fail. What do you say about failure?
Failure, man, fall hard. Like, I aim high and fall hard. May go into a little depression for a minute, but eventually I know the Lord is going to bring me out. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to shoot, I'm going to shoot high, and you going to hear the fall. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, have people around you that can encourage you and get you out of that depression or whatever failure, however you take failure. Have people around you that can get up, don't stop, keep doing it, do it a different way. And I have those voices around me of people that have wisdom that push me, so it's like, I may go high, or I may not get it this time, but wait, next year I'm gonna really hit it. So fall hard. That's what I say.
We're going to fail. We're always going to fail, right? There's always going to be some type of failure. I get that. But you don't have to stay in it.
Right.
Stay in it. Okay, wallow, get your tears out or whatever, but brush your stuff up off and get back up. And then your support system. A lot of people worry about who supports them and who does not support them in the business. They think this person should absolutely be supporting me, and they're not. What do you say about your support system? Let me let you answer that first.
So I've had people in my support system that were negative, but I had to coach them to tell them, I need you to be positive. And if you're not coachable, then we're going to have a hard relationship, and I have to remain coachable too, towards their ideas as well, So, but I'm just saying, like, people in my support system, I've learned over time to get people who are rolling too, people that are just move, because they understand the language and the culture. They understand my groans and my pains and this and that. I have older people and I have younger people around me that inspire me. So I get all ranges. So if I want to move years ahead from now, I go talk to the older gentleman and say, man, how did you feel what was your thinking? Oh, I thought this. And so it changes my mind. Or these young kids today can do things in a different way. So I just like my support system. I have a broad range. I don't only have black males that, do that for me, or just black women. It's just like people that inspire me. I try to, give you something to like a win-win relationship is what I call it. So I build win-win relationships. And if I'm giving you everything and you're not giving anything back, then it's just we're not going to be able to win together. But if we're all building together, then, we can do it.
That's right. It's a part of having like-minded people around you, like-minded people that have that same drive and that same motivation around you to push you, and not just say, oh, if you give up, be like, okay, find something else to do. But no, saying, no, you get up and you go. Like Black is Magazine, it stands for all of humanity. Like it is Black is Magazine, and we're talking about justice and equality across the board. But it's to say that we can all work together. It doesn't matter what your culture is, as long as you're for peace and equality and justice and all that stuff. We can work together and we can build on that.
Yeah.
So I like what you're doing. I appreciate
Thank
you being
you.
here. And I
Thank
look
you.
forward to placing your story in the magazine, loading this interview to YouTube. Sorry about the distractions.
Oh, it's all good. It's
But
all
I
good.
appreciate you, and I'm going to
Thank
keep you
you.
informed on the event that we're going to try to put together, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you can come bring a couple of guys to be an example for these young guys we have, because I feel like God is saying, we need to do this. We need to
Mm-hmm.
show up for these guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I'm sorry for taking so much of your time on this Sunday, but I do
No, no.
appreciate you.
Thank
Hey, you
you.
guys, look Ramal Brown up. Support what he has going on. If you need to reach him, he's put his information out there. It'll also be in the link below. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please leave your comments below so we'll know how you feel. And Ramal, thank you. God bless you. And until
God
next
bless.
time, you guys respect yourself, respect each other. Good night. Thank you.
Wow, women helping other women learn, grow, and empower. Learn new things, grow from what you learn. Empower others to do the same. Helping you to create a plan for your life, vision for a better life. Get connected to resources, seminars, trainings. Women helping others with the gifts that they have. Contact Crystal Ifakoya, the founder and creator of WOW. Why not?